following video contains spoilers. If you are concerned with obtaining spoilers, well then why in the world would you click on a video titled Spoiler Alert? Ha! Reevaluate your life. Enjoy! I heard I have control issues, so I'm going to try to control something that's impossible to control. Ha! Water. Now, I am a professional, so please don't try this at home. As I always say, the less you look, the closer you see. So, let's go. Stop! Thanks for coming to the show. Now you see me too, you haven't seen anything yet. What's up guys, I am Angel Tony Pimentel, aka MiniTangled, and this is the review for Now You See Me Too. This was a good movie. It was a really good follow-up from the original. The original, I fell in love with immediately. I feel like there wasn't a big fan base from the original. I loved it. The ending was disappointment, just like the ending of this one wasn't. It wasn't as big of a disappointment as the first one. I'm gonna cover the first one really briefly, just because I never did a review, so we're gonna talk about it. The first one was a great movie, all the way up until like the last 10-20 minutes. Like, once you find out who's part of it, you find out it's the cop that's part of it, and it just strips meaning from the whole movie. It's like you just pick apart the movie after that happens. It just strips the whole meaning behind everything. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. It was a good movie. I could have given it a higher rating, but it's a 7 out of 10 just because, I don't know, I felt like slightly the movie kind of had, it lost a little bit of the feeling they gave me from the first one. Like a different feel. It was still a good movie, and there was a lot of cool things that they did, but it just felt a little different. They went a different route with this movie than they did with the first one. Not a bad thing, just different. The Four Horsemen is back, minus Henley, if that was her name. I think that was her name. She was hot. She was hot Henley. That's how you can remember it. My sources tell me that she was pregnant when they were filming the movie. I don't know if my sources are correct. They could be wrong, but that's why she wasn't in the movie. So they have this new character, Lula. Is that her name? Lula? She's an interesting character. The humor, it was between corny and funny. Some of the stuff she was saying was funny. Other times it was like, shut up. Her entrance scene was really funny though, where she cuts off her head supposedly and like messes with Jesse Eisenberg. Daniel Atlas. Side note, Jesse Eisenberg, my favorite actor. He's my favorite character in this franchise. He's such a great actor. He could do funny and he could do serious. He could do it all. So the opening scene was a flashback of Thaddeus Bradley, however you pronounce it, and that story that they talked about in the first movie. And immediately when I realized what this flashback was, I was like, okay, that's cool. Putting the little backstory, I like it. But I was like, okay, how is this going to tie into this current story that's about to happen? And sure enough, it did tie in. I was like, I know they're not just going to show this just to show it. I just felt like they made things connect too much to the point where it just made things a little bit irrelevant. Like every character had some kind of connection. I'm going to sound a little confused, but that's because this is a complicated plot. It's very convoluted. It's very, very convoluted. If you disagree, then forget you. But, like, Rhodes, he's supposed to be part of the Eye, but he seems so clueless about the whole thing. Throughout the whole movie, he seems so clueless in comparison to the first one, where, yes, I understand he was clueless in the first one, but that time he was all acting. The last one, it ended with him being part of the Eye. They go on this carousel and you expect them to like go into La La Land, the Eye Land or whatever, and he just seems like he's the leader, and then in this one he's like so confused, and it just, there's no continuity. So let's talk about the new characters that I don't like. They brought in Merritt's twin brother, which I felt was completely unnecessary. They just wanted to do a like, it's funny that they're twins, and they're like arguing like that cliche. And his character was kind of annoying. Like, I get what they were going for, I just personally didn't like it. And of course I have to address this character. They made a big to-do-dah like ha ha in the preview, and I just didn't like it. And that is that Daniel Radcliffe, however you pronounce the name, is in the movie. Hey, this is a big star, and you know him from Harry Potter, like wizard, magic. It'll be funny to put him in, and it just felt like a cheap ploy to get more people to watch the movie. He played the antagonist, which I felt was very unexpected, and I really thought he was going to play the protagonist. I thought he was going to join the Four Horsemen, but that didn't happen. He was an antagonist, which was surprising. So the first show that they do is in New York, and they get exposed from the start. I'm like, oh, this movie's going a different direction. You find out that Jack Wilder is alive, and this I did not see coming. I was like, they're not going to do this, but they actually exposed the cop from the beginning. And this was something I really hate. Writers really need to be more realistic. Like, as soon as this random guy on the computer screen comes up and says, Rhodes is part of it, he's part of the Four Horsemen, immediately the cop next to him arrests him. Really? I could say this guy's a rapist, this guy's a murderer. I could just go on the street, point at people, and the cops are just gonna arrest them. Like, no questions asked, immediately put handcuffs on them. Like, come on, that's not realistic. One thing I have to say how much I absolutely enjoyed. Like, it totally mind screwed me. Like, I was like, what? Is the whole card scene. You guys know what I'm talking about if you watched it. The card scene where they pass the cards to each other. It was just so creative, and I've never seen anything like that done before, where they actually put the cards in their hand. The amount of choreography and just the mindset of having to do that. Like, think of that idea. I would have never thought of something like that. It was a little too long, to be honest. Like, it was a little long when you take a step back and I'm like, okay, how long has this scene been going on? But it was really entertaining, so I'm gonna give it a pass. This scene I enjoyed a lot, which was shown in the trailer a lot, was Jesse Eisenberg, stopping the water. I thought that whole sequence was amazing. Not just that sequence, but each one was entertaining, minus Lula. Her part was kind of boring. But I loved how they did the exits. Jack Wilder does the cards and just disappear. That was amazing. Jesse Eisenberg does a trust fall with water and just disappears. It was cool. The ending just fell apart for me, though. I hate that they put this twist. They need to calm down on the twist. If they do a third one, which I'm assuming they will, calm down with the ending twist. Like, I don't see, like, I get that this is a magician movie. It's really meant to immerse you into the movie. Like, the whole movie's supposed to be like a trick in a sense. Like, you're supposed to believe one thing and then you find out that that's not what it was. I get it. The ending scene where they had the plane and it was supposed to be a fake plane, it wasn't even flying or whatever, that was like way over my head. I was like, okay, come on, that's not believable. And why didn't the cops get there in time if that was the case? If everyone else in the audience, minus Daniel Radcliffe and friggin' Alfred, they were the only ones that weren't in on it. The rest of the audience knew about it. Why weren't the cops there? They were there at the end when the whole scene was over. Like, it's just, come on. And seriously, after that scene, the very ending scene where you find out that Thaddeus Bradley is friends with Rhodes' father, and just, one, it stripped meaning from the rivalry, in a sense, and it was just like, okay, that kind of strips meaning from that whole conflict, and you still don't get a fair understanding of what the eye is. You never do. You never see what the eye is, unless the eye is just Lee and that old lady that speaks English magically. Like, if that's the eye, then this movie sucks. I'm sorry. If that's just them, that's the eye, two Asian people. Like, I felt like the first one had a little more magic tricks, where this one had more of a heist, where there's conflict between people, which is fine. Again, I'm not saying these were mistakes, I'm just saying comparing the differences of the movies. Anyway, guys, that is what I thought of the movie. You don't have to agree with me, you do not have to disagree with me, but I am Angel Tony Pimentel, and thanks for watching.
If you're falling, the ground around is shaking. Don't be mistaken, cause success is what he taking. Lights, camera, action for the video creation. Been working hard, improving our 6 years in the making.
MiniTangled. Or one of the I thought he was gonna join the Four Horsemen.